Who knows, maybe the Apple AirPods Pro 2 are taking away market share from prescription hearing aid sales. Hey guys, welcome back to the DrCliffAuD vlog. This is vlog number 260, and today I want to talk to you guys about the Apple AirPods Pro 2 and what type of impact they're actually having inside of the world of hearing aids. But before we get into it, do me a huge favor, click the like button. It really helps out the channel, and if you are not yet subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on, go ahead and do that as well. It is greatly appreciated. So the reason I'm bringing up this topic here today, and you guys know that I've talked about the Apple AirPods Pro 2 hearing aids like a number of times at this point, even on the vlog here. But I want to talk about it again because I have a friend and colleague inside of the industry that got a hold of me and asked me if I wanted to participate in a webinar talking about how new patient appointments scheduling with audiology clinics is actually on the decline in the beginning of 2025. And I was like, no way, like, our clinic is humming right along. Like, there's no way that this is an actual trend that's out there. And then she pointed out the numbers inside of our clinic because this is an individual from our analytics company. And she's like, no, Cliff, your clinic is also seeing a decline in new patient appointments in the first month of 2025. And we want to have this webinar because we want to try to figure out what the heck is causing this, because it is all over the entire country. And it's not just private pay hearing aids like my clinic is. We're private pay only. We don't take insurance or anything like that. We work with insurance on an out-of-network basis, but we don't do any we don't participate in any third parties like Amplifone or True Hearing or Epic or any of those, right? And then she also said that, and it's not because these insurance programs with third parties are taking over, because their unit sales are down 25%, whereas private clinics like mine are down on average 9% on new hearing aid sales. And this is with new patients, right? So it actually got me thinking about it because, you know, I interact with you guys a lot on the comment section of the channel. I basically go and I look at analytics all the time on the channel to see if there's anything that's significantly impacting, you know, new individuals going in and getting their hearing tested and getting their hearing loss treated. And so I took a deep dive into data. Now, the analytics inside of my clinic, even though our new patients are down, it's only down by a little bit, and our actual revenue and new hearing aid sales has gone up. So the people who are actually coming in, they're actually saying yes to treatment at a much higher rate than what they had previously in the past. I don't know why that is. I mean, we do a lot of training inside of the clinic, and we only try to attract individuals who want to hear their absolute best, individuals who are just trying to come in and get the lowest cost hearing care that they can. We're not the right fit for them. So our clinic is actually doing pretty well, even despite these numbers. But when I went and I looked at our clinic numbers were not affected in terms of like overall revenue, right? When I went into the YouTube channel and I started looking through comments, I couldn't really see any trends in terms of people saying like, oh, hey, Costco came out with a new hearing aid. Everybody go to Costco and get those hearing aids because they're super cheap, right? I didn't see anything like that. I didn't see any spikes in any of my Costco content. I didn't see anything like that. But what I did see is when Apple announced the new iOS 18.1 update that turned their AirPods Pro 2 into over-the-counter hearing aids on October 28th, 2024. What I ended up seeing was a spike in the YouTube analytics, meaning a lot of people, once they heard about that, went and started watching my videos talking about how Apple's AirPods Pro and AirPods Pro 2 can be converted into hearing aids with their transparency mode feature. And then after that, I released a couple more videos with like a setup tutorial of how to actually set those up as hearing aids, and also a review video of talking about how good the AirPods Pro 2 are as OTC hearing aids. And then even my April Fool's video where I basically joked about Apple coming out with prescription hearing aids, which did not happen, by the way. That saw a huge spike as well when that announcement was made, which is kind of funny because a lot of people got upset by that. And I'm okay with that. You know, if you can't joke around, I don't, you know what, you probably shouldn't watch my videos. But nevertheless, the thing is that those all saw a spike. So what I think is possible is that individuals, they see that Apple's coming out with this AirPods Pro 2 hearing aid feature, and they want to try it. And a lot of the people who would try something like that are someone who is not wearing hearing aids yet. And basically, they've been probably kicking the can down the road. They feel like they have a $250 problem rather than a $6,000 problem, things of that nature. And I think it's possible that people are trying the AirPods Pro 2 hearing aid feature, and whether they're liking it or not liking it, or at least at this moment in time, it's delaying people getting treated with prescription hearing aids. Now, is that a bad thing? Well, maybe it's a bad thing. Maybe it's a thing where more and more people are actually trying the AirPods Pro 2. They get a taste of what it's like to hear better, and then they're like, well, I want to go the whole way, and then they go the prescription hearing aid route. So it could end up being a huge boon for prescription devices and new patients going into clinics here later over the course of 2025. But if you ask me, I think that it's probably just too small of a sample size for us to really know what's going on. And in fact, it could be nothing. It could just be a blip on the screen and everything normalizes and goes back to exactly the way that it was before we saw this little bit of a dip here early in 2025. I don't think it's macroeconomic factors. People don't choose to not treat their hearing loss because they're worried about the economy. Hearing aids are an inelastic good, meaning that people want to hear. And whether inflation is good, inflation is bad, the market conditions are good or bad, people want to hear. And they go in and they buy hearing aids regardless. So ultimately, at the end of the day, it's probably nothing. But if it is a trend to where now people are choosing just to not treat their hearing loss for whatever reason, what's going to happen is that a lot of clinics out there are going to start struggling when it comes to keeping their doors open. A lot of the brick and mortar stores, like the reason that hearing aids cost as much as they do is because you have local community support inside of these hearing aid centers for their patients. And it is impossible to get treated at a high level if you just order your devices online. I don't care if you send in an audiogram to these companies and they pre-program them for you. It is impossible for them to follow comprehensive best practices. They can't do real ear measurement. All the things that would be required to optimize your hearing ability, you can't get done remotely. You have to do it inside of a clinic. And if a lot of these clinics end up going out of business, people with hearing loss are going to be screwed basically. Or they're going to have to increase prices for everyone else who still wants to come in and get their hearing treated. So this trend, if you're someone who actually goes to a hearing aid clinic to get treatment, this is a bad trend for you, because if this trend continues, prices are going to go up. It's just simple supply and demand when it comes down to it. Now, here's the thing. In this webinar, which is already given at the time that I'm presenting this to you, my advice to hearing care professionals is you should be going a quality route rather than a quantity route. What do I mean by that? A lot of hearing aid clinics are driven by new patient hearing aid sales. And so if you're not making a sale, you're not making any money. And when you have small margins in there, you have to get a lot of new people in order to be profitable inside of your clinic. However, if you are an extremely high quality clinic, typically your margin is going to be bigger, but you're having to work really hard for that margin, meaning you're providing comprehensive audiologic best practices, you're providing an excellent patient experience, you're providing person-centered care, you're spending a lot of time with your patients, but it becomes more of a quality game than a quantity game. And even if the amount of patients goes down, you are still seeing enough patients to where you're able to have a big enough margin to keep your doors open and operating with a healthy profit and keeping your audiologists and other ancillary staff employed, so you have services available for your patients, both your new patients and your existing patients. I also think that a lot of clinics need to get away from the bundled model where they basically, you go to a hearing aid clinic, they sell you hearing aids for a high dollar amount, but it includes all of your follow-up care for potentially lifetime, 3 years, 5 years, forever, who knows. But the problem with that is that they have to be able to make sure that they spread that revenue out over the course of that prolonged period of time. And that can be very difficult to do when you don't know what the market's going to be like in 3 to 5 years from now, or even further down the road. So I tend to advise people to either do a hybrid approach where you're selling the hearing aids separately from the fitting sequence and an initial service plan, but then you just charge fee for service as time goes along. So people who need more care, they end up paying a little bit more money. People who need less care, they pay less money over time. It's kind of a win-win situation for everybody, and it allows your local hearing aid clinic to keep their doors open. Now, I think that at the end of the day, I think it's too early to call. I don't think that the whole hearing aid industry is going to collapse. I did give a presentation talking about the death of audiology about 5 years ago at AAA, our national conference here in the United States. And a lot of it was me trying to influence hearing aid clinic owners to actually provide a higher quality of care for their patients, because with OTC, with online prescription hearing aid sales, with big box stores, all of these other low cost routes that you can go for hearing aids, the thing that is still missing is a high quality experience and high quality treatment outcome that a lot of people with hearing loss are looking for. So hopefully, this discussion, this webinar that I gave to other hearing care professionals, a lot of clinic owners, along with a whole panel of great panelists that were on with me. Hopefully we've influenced a lot of these clinic owners to provide a higher quality of care inside of their clinics, because everybody wins when quality is the main focus rather than quantity. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that this is the beginning of the end for the hearing aid industry? Is Apple going to take over the world with AirPods Pro 2 hearing aids? Let me know down in the comment section, and I'll see you next week.